welcome to Acquired Taste Podcast. We are back. It's your boy Dirty D.
It's your boy Tech Daddy.
And it's Queen Bee.
It's a good intro right there. It's good stuff. Even though I call myself Tech Daddy, but like Queen Bee definitely like fixed DJ's computer before we started recording this.
Tech Mommy right here.
The Tech Mama.
You know, I didn't really do a whole lot, I don't think, but
You know?
apparently it's more than DJ could do.
You did the same thing I did. You put some kind of fucking voodoo shit on this, and it just worked.
Yeah.
But don't embarrass you in front of the wizards. One of my favorite IT memes. It's like when you're working on somebody's computer, like, oh, my computer's broken, and the IT comes and it starts
Yep.
working immediately.
Yep.
Like, how dare you embarrass me in front of the wizard?
It was embarrassing.
I swear it is a phenomenon though. Like if right when something's broken, like okay, I'm gonna call the IT, and I finally get there to fix it,
Yeah.
and it starts working immediately
It's
because
not
it knows
doing the
better.
thing anymore. It
'Cause it knows
was
better.
doing this thing, and now it's not doing the thing anymore.
It's like when you're like sick and you go to the doctor and your symptoms like immediately clear up.
Or your car is making a noise, and you take it to the mechanic, and it
It
doesn't make
stops.
the noise.
Yep.
Yeah. That happens all the
Same.
time at work. I'll have a tool like malfunctioning or something with my welding machine, and I'll get the maintenance guy over there. And he'll be like, go ahead, try it out. And it'll work perfectly. And he's looking at me. I'm like, I'm not a liar. All right? I know what happened.
Embarrassing me in front of the wizard. Welcome to Quiet Taste Podcast. We do some history, a little mystery, some music, some pop culture here and there. You know, whatever the fans suggest. I'm sorry, listeners suggest. I don't like people calling our like fans. They're our listeners and our friends.
Some people are fans. Some people are they just listen.
AI called them taste buds. Remember that?
AI
Yes.
did call them taste buds.
That was such a great, that would have been incredible if it wasn't already taken.
Yeah, it's true. So, if you're new to the podcast, we appreciate you giving us a shot. Like I said, we do some various topics. We definitely listen to suggestions of listeners and everybody else. So, if you have a suggestion, feel free to reach out to us. We have various social medias that you can follow us on for any updates as well as when we post an episode. So, follow us there. Be pretty tight. If you are a returning listener, we appreciate you. We've actually seen another increase in listeners and in followers. So if you are new, thank you for giving us a follow. We do appreciate it. If you were following us on our social medias, we appreciate that too. If you're not, give us a follow there too. We would appreciate it.
And tell us where you're coming from, too, if you guys are new. That would be
That'd be
appreciated.
interesting.
Because
The metrics only show me so much.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
only get so much from Libsyn, which we host through, or Spotify, which is like the main one that I always focus on because that's where the majority of listeners are. But I can only see okay, they're from America or they're from another country, but it doesn't tell me where in the country. So that would be pretty cool. But if you're a returning listener, we appreciate you. Of course. We've been at this for a little over 2 years now. We appreciate the support. The fact that we're still getting new people is very nice to see. So we appreciate y'all.
welcome, guys.
And of course, as per usual, you get your forehead kisses. There you go.
Tickled my lip on that last one.
Was it your mustache or what happened in there?
No, it was on the inside.
Oh wow! From the inside.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny that we're talking about just our metrics overall because we've been trying for a while since we added B to get a more female listenership. And I think
The token woman in this situation.
I'm the token black guy in this situation. You're fucking welcome. Anyways, but it's funny though because in this year, I'm pretty sure it's been more female to male that listen to us now. Yeah. And I don't know if that's you,
What up, girlies?
my sultry voice, or DJ's TikToks.
I honestly think it's DJ's TikToks more than anything.
It could be. I have been hit on a few times on their TikTok.
You guys want to see DJ's nipples coming soon to our TikTok?
Just so you know, I will not respond if you hit on me via TikTok.
Unless you're super hot, and then he will probably. respond.
Yeah, maybe. I
I
mean,
will not.
he is single, so ladies.
I am a whore, but not that kind.
Yeah, I just checked our last 90 days. We actually still have more women than men listening to us now. And apparently the last calendar month, that's weird. Anyways, last 30 days, last 90 days, everything's reflecting women are listening to us more than men now.
I think a lot of it maybe is, the episodes that Kat was on, and
That helps.
We've been doing a little true crime here and there, which I think is resonates with my lady friends.
That's true. The ladies do love the true crime.
We do.
And we're doing our next few episodes. We're going to do another one. So if you are listening to this and you want to hear more of it, we actually have it in our calendar now.
Yeah, it's fun to do once in a while.
Every now and again.
Yeah, and a lot of it too is like historical true crime stuff,
Sure.
which is cool because it doesn't always get covered on other more traditional true crime podcasts.
Yeah, that's usually more up to date stuff. It's like, oh, this happened last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not like morbid where we're going to go over detail of all the bodies and
No.
how and
Yeah.
well, maybe a little bit. But no.
Well, maybe. Okay, we have, yeah. Like there was definitely that one woman that didn't have a head and was in a dress that did not fit her.
Oh,
You
you're
know.
talking about Belle Gunnis?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go back and listen to our Deadly Women episode. We did one with the Big Cat and B, and it was actually really good. And we're doing another one
Yeah, we're
with
doing
B
part 2.
and the Big Cat.
Yep.
Very soon, so keep an ear out for that. Like I said before, follow us on the socials. That's a good way to keep up with us. I think our link tree has everything in it, including our merch. So if you want to get some Acquired Taste merch, we have new merch with our faces on it.
We got new merch, new designs. You guys
And
check
new
it out.
stickers finally, and I've been doing some stuff, a couple 2 treat things here.
Doing a thing.
But yeah, so if you are new to the podcast, we do about 10, 15 minutes of banter, other than my intro and the news, and then our news at least. So yeah, we get a little bit of banter out. It helps us break the ice a little bit, get into the mood. If you want to get into the actual topic, as I said, the meat and potatoes of the subject, except we had about 15 minutes to usually get to that. But if not, rather hear us say some stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with anything for at least 15 minutes
Yeah.
as we get prepared. But we start off with a question. Did you have a question for us this week? What's
I
going
do
on?
have a question,
What's up?
and I feel like it's kind of obvious for the topic we're going to do here. What is your guys' favorite ethnic food?
Oh, that's a big question.
It is.
That's a big question.
Now,
I mean, I already know.
I do as well.
I already know.
All right,
but
I'll
it's gonna
go
be,
last.
Well, mine's going to be a spoiler for our topic today.
Well, I mean, it's in the damn title, so
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true. They
You
know what
definitely clicked
they
on
know
it.
what they're clicking on. My favorite is Asian food.
all right, like Chinese, Japanese,
All of it. man.
Indian.
I don't like sushi. I will say that, but I like Chinese food. I like Japanese food. I like Korean food. I like Indian food. Like, send me to an Asian fusion restaurant, and I'm in heaven.
What is it
that
about
used to be a good
sushi
one.
that you don't like, though?
I don't like fish. I don't like fish in general. Like, I don't like seafood.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah. See, I used to not like sushi because of a texture type thing,
I get that.
but then I had like
The texture doesn't bother me, and if I can get like, you know, a California roll without any like seaweed or like something that doesn't taste fishy, I'm totally down with that. But if it tastes like fish, I can't do it.
yeah. I was Dragon Bowl was a place I had sushi. I was like, I could fuck with this, but then I do remember one night I was briefly the door guy at Growlers
oh,
for like a small period of time.
I know the story.
Couple months, and I had got sushi from Strack and Van Til's.
Oh no, you don't want to do
There was
that.
a fucking Asian dude doing
Yeah.
it,
There was an Asian guy doing it.
and I was like, it can't be bad.
Yeah, you don't
That
wanna
might
do
say
that.
wrong, but sound wrong, but whatever, So I got some, and I got fucking food poisoning while I worked Thursday night karaoke night at fucking Growlers, carding people. That was one of the worst nights of my fucking life, right there.
I've been food poisoned once in my life, and I never want that on. I don't want that ever again. So I get it.
I have been food poisoned a couple times. To this day, I can't eat loaded baked potatoes.
Wow.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's
really
like my
unfortunate.
favorite kind of potato.
I know,
That's a
it's
bummer.
very unfortunate.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Damn.
Bummer.
Also, you gave me shit for not being a big fan of guacamole and you don't like sushi.
Yeah.
The
I'm not
audacity.
sorry. I'm not sorry. It is not the same thing.
It's not. I agree with her. It's not the same thing.
That's because you're on her side, Dave.
Guacamole is amazing.
Guacamole
It's,
is amazing.
And the thing is, I don't hate guacamole from everybody. It's just
Yeah, you got to get it made by a purebred Mexican.
right. Like I need to run the risk of ICE raiding his house.
You-
I'm gonna
as
make
I'm
you,
eating
I'm
it.
gonna make you some guacamole.
You are
you're
brown,
gonna
so we're gonna see how this goes.
We'll see if you like
You
it.
need somebody who's been beaten with a chancla to like,
Yeah.
make you fucking guacamole,
It's true.
Because guacamole is not made with love; it's made with pain,
Yeah,
and that's how it tastes good.
it's made with hate.
Yeah.
You get the,
I mean, I do
It's the
season my
tears.
food with
You get
the season of my
the
ancestors.
pestle and the molcajete, and you have
Yeah.
to like
You gotta work for it.
Yeah.
While you
gotta
get the
use your
Mexican
anger.
tears that drip in there. That's where the real
Maybe
flavor
for your
comes from.
birthday, B. If you make it for your birthday, I'll be there to eat it.
I will do that.
there you go.
I'm gonna make some for my birthday.
No, yeah. Happy birthday to me.
You don't have to like it. You just have to try it.
I will try it. I will definitely give it a shot.
All right, perfect.
What about you, Deej? What's your favorite ethnic food?
So it used to be Mexican food, just because like I've had it all my life, and there's no type of Mexican food I don't like.
Sure.
Not one single Mexican dish where I'm like, all of
It's
it.
all the same.
All of it, yeah.
Okay, you can get the fuck out.
It's really cheap to make.
There's not
So
a ton
true.
of variety in Mexican food. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's basically
I felt our fans coming after that ass.
I have a good defense for this because you can, if you make your own masa, you could shape it into any form.
Yep. True.
Taco, cupcake, burger style.
Yep.
Tastes good, and you just give it a different name. And it's fucking amazing.
I mean, I love Mexican food for the flavors and because it is really fucking cheap.
Yeah,
Like you
it's so
can
cheap
you
to
can
make.
feast
Yeah.
for like $20.
If the arrachera's on sale, like if you can find it for under $10 a pound nowadays,
sure.
which is rare, but you
we gotta go to
can,
the Mexican market, man. You'll find it.
it's been hard. Like last time I was in Chicago, it was cheap, but that was just like I think it's because it was like festival season, you know,
Sure.
Because most of the time I go, it's like at least $9.99 a pound.
Okay, yeah, that is a
you
bit
know?
much.
But 3 pounds will feed you
Yeah.
and a lot of people for
True.
sure. You know, so I can't say Mexican food. And then I think for a while it was Chinese food, just because like that is all good too. But like I could never eat enough of Chinese food. That's like the food I will keep eating even when I'm absolutely
Yes.
full.
Yes.
I'll just keep fucking.
Okay, so here's what you do with Chinese food, right? You order it. You order way too much.
Mhm.
You eat and eat and eat until you feel like you're going to explode. And then you stop and you leave it out. You don't put it away. You leave it out. You wait like an hour or so. And then you go eat some more.
Yeah, right before the bacteria starts
Yeah.
to set in.
And then if there's any left, you put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
true.
usually how it goes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because Chinese food, I mean, because it's a lot of rice and whatnot, it doesn't last very long inside of me. It's like, all right, cool. Like I ate, I'm full. Give me like an hour and a half.
Yes.
I'm gonna eat again.
Exactly.
Like, it's happening again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think since we went to Philly and went to that Italian restaurant,
Dude, that place.
Italian food is
So like
top tier.
really
for me.
good Italian. For the longest time, Italian food was just like Olive Garden, you know?
Sure.
But then like you go somewhere and you eat really good Italian food and you're like, where has this been? all
Yeah,
my
you need to go
Dude,
to
that
a
place.
place where the fucking server's name is
Yeah.
Marco.
Marco.
And
Everybody
Which is, like-
there spoke
which is-
Italian.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because my great grandmother was straight from Italy, right? And my grandpa grew up with his father who was Mexican and his mother who was Italian. And I'm like, well, what kind of like authentic Italian foods did she make you? And he's like, tacos.
oh my
It's
god,
like, Grandpa, what do you mean? She only ever made food that her husband wanted.
Yeah.
So she never
All right,
made
I
them
found the
any
name of
like
the place.
Italian food.
yeah. What is the name of that?
I have to
place?
find it. It's the Grand Cafe, like Aquila. That
La Aquila.
yeah, it's that Grand Cafe.
That place was amazing. We
Aquila?
couldn't
Aquila, maybe?
we couldn't
Aquila?
pronounce one single item on the menu.
Not at all.
Not
That's what you
one
need.
thing. And like the thing you got to respect about Italian food, especially in Italy, like cooking dinner to them is a whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
It-
nobody
it's-
loves food like an Italian.
Yeah, it's literally like they will work a 6-hour workday, and then it's time for dinner, and it's from like 5 to 9 p.m. that they are together cooking. They're making the noodles themselves. They're making everything from fucking scratch. They're drinking
Yep.
wine while they do it.
Yep.
Oh, naturally.
It's
And
just-
everything is fresh and everything is very simple with very simple ingredients.
Yeah.
And it's all like these hundreds of year old recipes that have been passed down from their nonas. It's like,
yeah, literally.
you
Yeah, that's
know,
good stuff.
That
Yeah.
food that we had there, when
I
I got,
haven't had Italian since then.
because it's not even
It's
real
been 2
Italian.
years. It's been what, 2 years?
It's not even real Italian.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
not even worth my damn time.
We're in Indiana. We're not going to find that.
I mean, we're outside of
you know.
Chicago.
Well,
but
we're on the edge of Indiana. Yeah.
my grandma says all the time when we ask her what her favorite food is, she goes, my favorite food is Mexican. Well, I don't know because I really like Italian.
Italian.
She says
Italian.
I really
that
like
place was
Italian.
great.
Yeah, because I remember I got the ravioli that had like veal, I think wild boar, spicy Italian sausage, and then he like put the ravioli, and it was the smallest dish ever. I was like upset at first because it was like 5 pieces of ravioli, and I was like, that's not enough. And then he had the white truffle, the vanilla truffle, and he put it on top of the ravioli. And I was like, sir, that's the wrong plate. You just put ice cream on top of my ravioli. It was the best thing that's ever been inside my mouth in my whole
I
life.
can't really disagree with this. Like,
But when I took a bite, like when I said that to the guy, he looked at me. He's like, just trust me.
his name was Marco. He was also a very large man.
Man.
He was.
I want to go to this place. I want to go to
it
this place
was,
because I love
fantastic.
Italian
It
food.
was-
and it's hard to find around here.
Thankfully, when I travel with Deej, we're a lot alike when we travel. So we have the same kind of mindset about how to go about things. And we were waiting for our hotel to get our room become ready. And we were at this this like whiskey bar. He wasn't drinking, but I was. So I was at the bar talking with the bartender. He was outside. I don't know doing what. And I'm like, hey man, so we're from out of town. Where the fuck do we go? I need a local to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, you're from here, right? He's like, yeah, I grew up here my whole life. Like, okay. You know
What are we
things.
doing?
You know things. And he wrote down a list.
Give me the wisdom.
And gave me the list. And he was like, this place you have to go to. And we actually went there, and it was a game changer.
Fucking knockout. We ordered twice.
I did actually. I ordered 2 main courses. It was like the whole. You got to go through the whole thing. So you have your starter, your main, your dessert, and then your coffee. Because you end with the coffee, and we did the whole thing. It was. We were vastly underdressed.
The espresso at the end that they gave us. Oh my God.
Yeah, Italians always end their dinner with espresso.
I'd never realized like how crucial that is.
Yeah, we had gelato and then espresso.
Yeah.
It was top tier.
Is there even like a good Italian restaurant around here?
No.
Little Italy is okay.
Oh yeah,
But
probably that one. Yeah, that was
Little
okay.
Italy is good, but it's like,
I used to say it was good till we had the place in Philly, and now I'm like,
have you guys been to Gamba? Gamba's good, but it's expensive.
I
but
don't give a fuck about price of food.
They have a little bit
Yeah.
more than just Italian, though.
I don't even remember that place being that expensive.
It wasn't
that we
bad.
went to.
I think my bill, 'cause I ordered 2 main courses. I think my bill after the 2 main courses, and I had a few. I think I had like 2 drinks. Was like maybe 70 something.
And that's not even
wasn't
that
bad.
bad. That's, I mean, you could go to a fucking steakhouse out here and spend $100 on a
On
plate,
just a
Oh, yeah.
steak.
Oh, yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
And then even after eating the Italian food, like I didn't feel any way, shape, or form bloated or like
Because we ended up walking.
sluggish,
We were
you
walking
know.
everywhere, so we walked
Yeah.
a couple like more miles, and we were all fine.
yeah. But ever since then, dude, Italian food, it's like the Great White Buffalo for me.
You're
It
like
is.
You know,
always searching now.
yeah.
Like I haven't had it since then.
I had.
It's been years.
So I had Cuban food when I was in Miami, and I had this dish that was like a spicy chicken with plantains.
Plantains.
I don't remember what it was called. I just remember it being so fucking good, and I was always like chasing that amount of deliciousness. And then we ended up going to, was it called 90 Mile in the city, Cuban Cafe,
okay.
and they have phenomenal food, and it got
Yeah, they
it almost got there. It almost got there. That was that I really like Cuban food a
Tasting that
lot.
food dragon.
I'm a big fan of Cuban food.
I feel like we could only get that if we go to the East Coast. Like it would have to be New York, Philly to get that type of Italian food.
I agree.
You
Yeah,
know,
I agree with
I
that.
just
And
don't
then even
think-
Cuban food, we got to go to fucking Miami.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
go to the
Like,
coast.
Yeah.
There's
Let's go.
no way, you know.
we have to go where they are.
Yeah, there's no they're not going to send it to us. They're not going to make it here.
No,
You know,
Yeah, it's too cold up here, man. I get it.
yeah, there's no way.
we have an ad agency that my company works with, and they're from like the East Coast. They're from like New Hampshire or whatever, but the owner of the ad agency is like from New York, and he always comes here. And he wants to go somewhere with like really good food, and we're always like, we don't know. I think we went to Rosebud last time, and
Oh, okay.
spent like $1 zillion, and we were
Yeah.
like, "Well, did you like it?" And he was like, "It was okay."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Oh, okay.
That's hard to pick because like the price isn't even a factor really.
I haven't been there yet, but it's like I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, I haven't been there either. And like I said, for me, the good food, the price isn't even a factor, man.
No, not at all. I've spent a lot of money on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm
But
being
I
treated
mean,
so
as far
great.
as like the food could be better when it's cheaper at some places.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, sure. I mean,
For
dude,
sure.
if people try to church up Mexican food, it always sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
don't
true.
try to stop trying to church it up, dear Tay.
Like,
Like,
you're
we know
not,
what this is.
you can get Mexican food that's like at some highfalutin, real fancy, like gentrified Mexican
And
place.
that's what it is.
Or you can get it from like your buddy Juan, who makes it in a truck when he's like really, really high on Thursdays. And it's
Yeah.
like so much better.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, find me a better tamale out here than Miguel's.
Yeah. Oh my
That he
God. For real.
Brings in with his cowboy hat and his fucking cooler.
For
Of,
real. Where's he been?
He's actually doing pretty good. I see him
haven't
here and
been
there.
out,
I
so-
have. I barely go out, but I have heard tell that he's been around, and I have seen him personally within the last month. He's doing good.
Did you get tamales from him?
Of course I did.
He's like fucking Jack the Ripper. Like,
dude.
there's only
I'm not
stories
snitching.
of him. Dude.
If he was
Juan
Jack
the Ripper?
if he was
Oh,
Jack the
jeez.
Ripper, if he was Miguel the Ripper, I would lie to the police for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, easily.
Like I
I'd be
could
like,
be
nah,
walking
he
through
was
an
with
alley
me.
and see
He was
him.
with me, dog.
Like, you see the silhouette of his cowboy hat?
Yeah, he's got like body parts. He's putting in his cooler.
Like-
and he just
Yeah.
like tips his hat at you.
Mm-hmm.
I've
got it.
walked the other fucking way.
I could find out that he was feeding us people this whole time, and I would be like, okay, give me like 20 more.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Like, what seasoning do you use?
just actual Chihuahua dogs he's fucking using for
Jeez.
me. Wouldn't matter to me.
No, not at all.
Wouldn't matter.
Wow, it was just like that was a rabbit hole.
Anyway,
Shout out to
We
my
would
we
Mix.
would all die for Miguel.
Yep. Indeed.
If you don't know Miguel, listen more, and we'll tell you some more stories about him as time goes on.
Yes.
Good guy. Good fucking guy.
What you got, Aaron? What's your favorite?
That's actually a real big question, man. It's tough because like I want to say soul food, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I grew up on. And it's still like, I love it. Like my aunt's greens, I would kill somebody for.
Dude, my dad's
Like-
nurse, she made a whole fucking meal the other day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
She made like banana bread with this banana pudding. She made this like pot roast, dude.
Just talk dirty to me.
Cornbread. It was just
Whisper it to me. Just whisper.
like I took a bite of it, dude, and like my whole body, like I got goosebumps. I was like, oh my God, Loretta.
Dude,
Loretta.
because like good soul food is that it gives you that feeling of when like a black woman calls you sweetie or baby.
Yeah.
You know, like it just feels right.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
I didn't understand at first because I got home and she was just cooking a bunch of food because
Yep.
like she makes food for my dad, but every now and then she just gets crazy and she wants to make a whole family course. And I was busy. I was like, I gotta go. Boom, 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 boom. I came back later that night and I took a bite and I was like, why didn't I trust you? I was like, why didn't I just stop and eat?
Like
when
I
you
could have
told me
been here
to?
this whole time.
I could have had it when it was fresh,
Oh yeah,
still
yeah,
steaming.
that's true. That's
know?
true. Yeah, I mean the thing because obviously like when I think about so if I think about the family get-togethers, like Thanksgiving or family kickbacks, cookouts, what have you, and it's always good memories, good food. It's all about like how with Italian people, like it's a family affair. Like you got the aunts and cousins and shit in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah.
You got little kids running around doing some dumb shit.
Some bullshit.
You got like the uncles and the other cousins in the den watching the football
Yeah.
game and shit. It's like that whole
See, I used to have that when so like not to get like real dark or whatever here, but when I used to see my biological father, he had one of those real big Mexican families. You know?
Oh, sure.
So like when I would go with him for like every other weekend or whatever, and he would basically just like drop me off at like some like auntie's house or whatever. Like I would be like, go.
I feel that.
Go,
Yeah.
You're gonna go to your tia's. Go hang out with your cousins. And so like he would go off do something, and I would get to this house with like 28 other kids, and I'm like, all right, this is cool, And like there's this huge family, and it was just like that, Everyone's eating. There's a million different types of food everywhere.
yeah.
Everyone's like running around. It was oh my God, it was the best. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the especially the kickbacks where they have like the uncles on the grill and shit.
Oh yeah, the
know.
drunk uncle who's already threw back a 24 case of Modelo
Yep.
at before noon.
So we meet one day.
Yep.
Me, my like most of my a lot of my friends have kids now, so yeah, it's gonna
And
be.
him and his brother are fighting over who can grill a better
It's
hot
me.
dog or
It's
whatever.
not even a question. It's me.
Yeah. And then
It's
there's
not even a conversation.
There's like a group of cousins who are just smoking weed the whole time.
Oh yeah, they got to take a
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got to take a walk. quote
There's the
unquote.
teenagers who go take a walk.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could never take that walk. Anywho,
I'm glad we all picked
there's-
something different.
There's
Yeah.
there's Angela who is like, she's turning into a little hoochie these days.
oh yeah, everybody
Her,
got them.
her boyfriend is here. Her boyfriend is here, and he's real hood. And
Yeah.
we don't like him.
With the nails and the
Yeah.
the fucking eyeliner and the lashes.
Yep.
Yeah, good times. But yeah, the food is just my favorite. I mean, I it will kill me, but that's okay. Like I've watched Big Mama's house. Like literally, Big Mama is the villain in that movie. I'm just saying. Anyways, I feel like I'm gonna go hold a tirade about that, but I'm just saying. Think about it. Like, all right, so Big Mama obviously died because the food that she made killed her. Let's make the same food that she died on and get the whole family together to feed it to him.
It's worth it.
That fucking makes sense.
Oh, man.
But yeah, put some ham hock in my damn my greens though. Ham hock and turkey neck in that bitch.
God damn.
Yeah. So that's
New Orleans had some really good food. Too.
Nolans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been, unfortunately.
I went to like a couple restaurants there, and all that food. I don't think I had any bad food in the whole time I was
believe it.
there.
Wow.
The spice will kill my insides.
That's another sign of good food when somebody can take any fucking part of the animal
Yeah.
and make it taste delicious.
They didn't really have many options.
That's what I mean. Like it's you're forced into it, and they still make it taste fucking amazing. Like we're gonna cook,
Join us again in Black History Month where I go into detail about this.
I'm gonna cook these gizzards up, and it's gonna be the best fucking thing
Dude,
you've ever had in
man,
your
yeah,
life.
gizzards ain't bad, man, but chitlins can kiss my ass. So,
Pig's feet.
Oh,
dude,
God.
man. So, all right,
Oh,
again, pig's
God.
feet and some greens, man.
That's what I mean. Like they'll
Like,
make it. They'll make it
dude,
work.
Dude, you got to boil them shits for a while, but it'll get the job done. The snout.
I'm gonna take the
The
placenta,
snout.
and we're gonna make fucking soup out of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's get the intestines, clean the bitches, and make a soup out of it.
Yeah.
Because that's a good idea. I get it. Didn't have a choice, but yeah, chitlins was the one thing I could never get behind.
Yeah, I
Never in my
remember somebody, it was an ex of mine years ago, their mom gave me a cow heart. And I was like, what do I do with this?
Like, is this for a sacrifice? Like, what do I?
It was massive, and a tongue, and a cow tongue. And I was
Yeah,
like,
wasn't it in your freezer?
yeah, I was like, what do I do with this? And my mom was like, oh yeah, I can make that. I was like, what do you
The fuck?
make? What?
Tacos.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was.
That is
Yeah.
insane.
Because I'm pretty sure, didn't I find the tongue in your freezer?
Yeah.
Blech.
As I watched my mom make it,
Yeah.
and I watched her split the tongue up and the meat, I was like, that looks fucking delicious.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's when you split it and it actually like opens up. It's actually like, okay, I see, I get it.
All right.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Yeah, I was at his house and I was in his freezer for something. I'm like, why is there a cow tongue in your freezer?
Where's the rest of the cow?
Right, like, hey, Deej, what's up, buddy? What's going on?
Oh man.
And still somehow not the weirdest thing that's happened to us. We're like 30 minutes into this thing. We have not touched
should
our
probably
topic
start.
at all.
Yeah. Speaking of-
Jeez.
Speaking of cow tongues.
I said that we do like 10, 15 minutes of this. We are a half hour
It's
in.
the food thing. That's
It
what happens.
is.
is a
Every
food
time
thing.
we get on food, we just
Just
can't stop.
completely segue it.
Yeah.
We'd be fat in this bitch.
Yeah.
So we're talking about ethnic food in America, some of the origins of that. So we're going to be focusing primarily today on Chinese food in America, like the origin of where it came from originally. We have a few other things we're going to touch on too, of course, because, food. But we're thinking about making like a little series out of this. So like we're going to be doing Chinese food and then like, just other various ethnic foods that just came to this good old melting pot that is the US of A. And Chinese is some of our favorite, so we're gonna start there.
Hell yeah.
And I'm actually pretty sure. I think it might have been my buddy Bill that actually brought this up one day. So this is actually an episode that was recommended by one of our listeners. Shout out to Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Bill.
So, did you know, as of 2019, there are 89,000 Chinese restaurants in the United States,
I mean, that
yeah.
sounds perfectly acceptable.
and you've never seen a commercial for any of them.
No,
Yeah.
they don't do commercials. They just slide
They
the
don't
menu
need
under
to.
your door.
Literally.
Exactly. Why
In every strip mall, all across
Yeah.
America, there's a Chinese buffet
Yep.
or a China King or a something of the
dude,
sorts.
R.I.P. Maki of Japan.
Ooh, I did.
The real
I
ones
did
know.
I got food. One of the ways I got food poisoning was from China buffet.
Which one?
The one on 30 and 41.
Oh yeah, I was just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you roll the dice when you go,
You
but
do.
it's worth it.
You do roll the
You
dice.
can't win them all.
Sometimes.
You know, you can't win them all.
But
So with that number though, again, like 89,000
That's a lot.
Chinese restaurants in the country, that accounts for 12 to 15% of all the restaurants we have in our country.
Jesus.
That accounts for more than McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell's, and Wendy's put together.
and somehow it seems like there aren't enough around here.
There could be more.
There could absolutely be more.
Good times. So this all started 1800 was when the first Chinese immigrants were migrated here in New York. There was a lot going on back then. I'm not even going to touch on half of it, but they eventually started to spread out to the West Coast. 1849, gold rush happened in California.
Yeah, there was a lot of miners who were digging up all this gold, and they were hungry.
Well,
And the Chinese people were like, "We can feed you.
excuse me,
Give
a
us
lot
some
of
of your
it,
gold."
a lot of it also had to do with, and I don't know why I didn't write this down, but I just know it off the top of my head, about the expansion west and the railroads. So a lot of the railroads were built on the backs of the Chinese.
Yes, Chinese immigrants did a lot of work on the railroads. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so the construction of the railroad, I think actually that was 1849, if my memory serves, when they started that whole thing. So when East and West met via railroad, especially once the gold rush happened, you saw the mass migration of peoples there again. So you have the original migration, just think Oregon Trail, essentially.
Yeah.
Your died of dysentery, that whole thing.
Did you know they're remaking that game?
I had heard.
Are they really?
I had heard. I've
no.
never won a game of Oregon
Has
Trail.
anybody ever won?
I won.
think so.
Remember I was telling you guys about the version of Oregon Trail that I play? It was called Amazon Trail.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
did.
won that one.
Right on.
Sounds
Eventually.
harder too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So in 1849, again, in San Francisco, the first Chinese restaurant opened up. There's a debate on which one was though, so there's a whole thing.
Yeah, there's several that claim to be the first.
They claim to be the first.
Yeah.
The top two are Manchu and Wusong. Manchu and Wusong was the last names of two guys that opened a restaurant. The other one that people say was the original was the Canton restaurant. These were the first restaurants to actually take the food from where they came from. Most of them were from the Guangdong region of China. So a lot of their food was regional from there.
Yeah, they were initially kind of just opening these restaurants to feed themselves and their community of immigrants. But it ended up catching on with people who were other ethnicities in the area, especially because the food was cheap.
Yep.
It was cheaper than other types of food, and and it was something different.
Definitely. So, like I said, they were feeding their communities. A lot of the problem back then too was, like I mentioned before, a lot of people were there for the gold rush and built railroads. So a lot of it was miners and railroad workers. It was a lot of manual labor. Most of them were dudes. So the ratio of men to women in this area of California was 18-1. So a lot of these dudes, bachelors,
They're not cooking for themselves.
didn't know how to cook for themselves. So they had no other choice when it comes to a restaurant to feed them. So like I said, feed the community
Yep.
was a big part of that. Going forward a little bit, and actually, of course, 1800s, the country just got over the Civil War. So racism is still, of course, running rampant,
It's
and
bad.
it wasn't just against black people. So
It's
the Chinese were persecuted as well for this. A really good example of this is if you guys have HBO, or is it Max now? Is it just called Max?
I think it's
Max.
just called Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Netflix. It's on Netflix now too. I forgot about that. There's a show called Warrior on Netflix. It's really, really good. It was written by Bruce Lee. The idea was written by Bruce Lee. His daughter found it and then turned it into a TV show.
Oh yeah, you told us about that. Yeah.
That
Nice.
covers this era of
We
the
talked
Chinese.
about this in our episode, I think about like kung fu movies.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kung fu in the show.
So go back to that episode. and check that out.
So one of the really cool parts about the story and how the story is told is it actually talks about this era of Chinese folks in America, or at this point, Chinese Americans. Chinese Americans, the Irish Americans and the rampant racism that was going on in
Yeah.
California at this time, which leads me into 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act.
Yep. Unfortunately.
So this was an act put in to stop Chinese immigrants from coming to America for 10 years.
Yeah.
They renewed it in 1896 for another 10 years. And then in 1896, chop suey. Not only a dish, but a really good System of a Down song.
Yes. Well, so one of the reasons that the Chinese Exclusion Act actually contributed to how many Chinese restaurants became, so prevalent in America is because when the Chinese Exclusion Act was in effect, it was basically barring Chinese people from moving like back and forth from their home country to America. New Chinese immigrants were not allowed in. If you traveled back to China, you would get stuck there. So one of the exceptions to that was a merchant visa. And a merchant visa would allow certain business owners to move freely from their home country back to America and so on. And they could also sponsor employees from their home country to come and work in their businesses. And one of the very few actual businesses that allowed merchant visas were restaurants.
Okay.
So a lot of these Chinese business owners, the only way that they could move back and forth or move their family to America was if they owned a restaurant. And so they're like, all right, restaurant it is. And so they just kind of exploded all over the country.
Okay.
Because it was one of the very few, kind of businesses that allowed them more rights and more freedoms.
Right on. Right on. I'm with it. I can dig it.
Yeah.
So 1896, chop suey becomes the first main American Chinese dish.
Yep.
So the fusion of America and China. Yeah, this is really just a Chinese dish that they just made more American.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. And a lot of it was out of necessity because they just didn't have, the supply chain wasn't there. They didn't have a lot of the same foods that they had in their home country, so they had to substitute with a lot of things. Like instead of like Chinese broccoli, which was like longer and had like smaller florets, they would use American broccoli and, so on and so forth.
So I just remember something from a movie and I can't remember what the fuck it was now. Like, I cannot pin it down, but it was something involving that. Like there's no word for, goodness. It's Travolta and he was a secret agent from Paris with Love. From Russia with Love was Bond. From Paris with Love was
Travolta?
I think so. Yeah, Paris with Love came out in 2010. It had, there was a line in the movie where they talk about, John Travolta and Jonathan Myers were in it. There's a line in the movie where they talk, they were trying to bust like these drug dealers in Paris, and they were hiding out in a Chinese restaurant. And so they're talking about like Chinese French food. This is a whole thing that I randomly thought about. I haven't seen the movie in years. Apparently it's on Peacock. I'm gonna come back to that. Anywho, so where was I? I lost my place here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, 1896, the Chinese diplomat Lu Huanchang came to America and ordered that dish. Actually, just to try it out. It's like, what the fuck's all this about? Like, they were just, the Chinese Exclusion Act had just ended. He came to America, on a trip. And he was like, well, what the fuck is chop suey? It's not Chinese.
You dishonor yourself, your family.
It wasn't even originally called chop suey either. That was just like how it was something else, and then Americans kept pronouncing it chop suey. So they just ended up calling it chop suey.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was originally something else.
That's some American ass shit. I do declare this chop suey you made here, this kung fu noodles, you pretty good.
Did you say kung fu noodles?
These kung fu noodles.
Okay.
So another thing that was really interesting was speaking of which, because Chinese Americans were so discriminated against, one of the ways that they as a culture fought that discrimination was to exotify themselves, if that's a word. So most of the Chinese immigrants at this time were living in I guess, the Chinese version of ghettos, which basically became Chinatowns
Yeah.
in major cities. And they just looked like any other town or any other part of the city, basically. But what the Chinese people did was they made their like Chinatown areas more exotic looking. Like they did like the architecture with they added like the gates, the Chinese gates.
Yeah.
And they, gilded everything with like these gold, whatever. And they made everything look very like ethnic and exotic and quote unquote Chinese, or how Chinese was perceived by Americans.
Yeah.
So they made their Chinatowns and their restaurants kind of a tourist destination. So they made it like a fun place to go, and people would see Chinese people as not someone to be hated or feared, but more as like, oh, you're interesting,
Yeah, just like anybody else. They got to America. They're like, these people are pretty stupid.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly,
Trick them.
yeah, basically. That's exactly what they
pretty much
did.
how it went, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid
They're
Americans.
stupid and they have guns. You got to figure out a
Let's
way to get
entertain
around
them.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Entertain them and they'll calm down.
Oh, American, big penis. You like rice and noodles.
It's like this.
That was a South Park reference, if you don't remember.
Yeah, it was. I hope that people caught that and know who's just fucking racist.
Yep. But are we in the 20s yet?
We can be.
Okay, so yeah. So between 1910 and 1920, the number of Chinese restaurants in New York City quadrupled. And with this, a lot of racist stereotypes became prevalent. And that's where kind of MSG comes in a little bit.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if you guys have heard about MSG or, like, that it's supposedly bad for you or...
MSG is delicious.
Yeah. So, for the longest time, like, there's a lot of Chinese restaurants that proclaim that their food is not made with any MSG. No MSG signs posted everywhere, like, stuff on the menu, it says no MSG, no MSG, right? There is nothing wrong with MSG. Like, MSG in moderation, just like salt or pepper, is like any other seasoning or flavoring. Basically, what it provides to a dish is like a savory, meaty taste, or like umami.
It is for the umami.
Yes, you guys watch Friends.
I have never seen an episode of Friends. Oh my god.
The umami. Well, whatever.
I watched Living Single. Anyways.
So there's 5 flavors that generally your tongue can taste, right? So that's salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami.
Sure.
So MSG gives food the umami flavor. It's pretty essential to authentic Chinese cooking. So in China, they use it just like salt and pepper. They use it with everything, basically. There was this article that came out in the 1920s of a guy visiting a Chinese restaurant. And he said that he ate at this Chinese restaurant and he got immediately sick. And he got a headache and he was tingly from his head to his feet and he almost passed out. And for whatever reason, this article like went crazy and people were calling it Chinese food sickness. And yeah. And it was basically just because people were grasping at straws for things to be racist at Chinese people about. So they made it was kind of made up essentially that it was the MSG in the food that was causing this. And so people would say, oh, every time I eat Chinese food or every time I eat MSG, I get a headache or I get sleepy or I get tingly and numb or I get, nauseous or whatever. It was never very consistent what this would cause in people. But for the longest time, and still to this day, MSG is associated with sickness. Like people think that MSG is bad for you. And it's really not. There's actually 0 scientific studies that support any harmful symptoms from MSG. The only study that was like very, very flawed that was done that quote unquote proved that MSG was bad for you was they injected MSG underneath the skin of mice. Which, like, that's not how you consume MSG. But
yeah, your
okay.
body doesn't even have the chance to break it down at that point.
Like inject some salt under your skin and see what happens.
Yeah.
It sounds very painful, actually.
Yeah, but it caused brain lesions in the mice. And so they're like, oh, this MSG, this Chinaman spice. or
America
whatever.
finding reasons to be racist? I've never heard of such.
Yeah. So
Is it like when China started to become like communist? That's when America was like, these goddamn fucking commies are trying to poison us.
Well, I mean, that was in the 60s with the MSG panic, actually.
yeah, so this was like 1969, kind of.
Yep.
This,
So,
Summer of
this
love.
study
yeah,
was done.
fucking Mao.
Yeah.
That fucking square-headed bastard. Dude, fuck him.
I agree. I agree.
So
Killed
anyway,
how many millions of his people because he wanted to have change his country? What an idiot. Anyways, because communism works.
well,
Anyways.
that was the thing too, because more Chinese immigrants were coming in trying to escape communism.
Yeah, because they were getting starved to death.
Correct. And then they get here, and people are like, "Oh, you dirty Asians getting us all sick," and they're like, "What the fuck? We're giving you General Tso's chicken."
Yeah, it's like the black people like, man, dude, look what we gave them.
Speaking of General Tso was actually a real guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that one?
you got it.
Oh, okay. So Cao Xiang Tung, or General Cao Xiang Tung. I'm so bad at this. I'm so sorry.
That sounded good, that last one.
You are literally summoning ghosts to a house about to move out of. It's fine. Carry on.
He was from the Hunan province. He was a military leader during the Qing dynasty. And this guy who was also from the Hunan province, years later, like years after the actual General Tso died, he there's actually a little bit of controversy. Like there's this other guy who claims that he invented it, but most documentation points to this guy named Peng Chengquai inventing it in Taiwan in 1955. He introduced it to New York in 1973, and people went feral for this shit, right? People lost their goddamn minds.
Excuse me.
And it was like, he added like some sugar to it. He made it real sweet and like spicy. It was a hit. It was a huge hit. It was everywhere. Everyone was eating it. He tried to introduce it back to China. He tried to take it back to China, like open a restaurant with his General Tso's chicken, and all the Chinese people were like, this is too sweet. What is this?
Right.
This is American shit? What is this?
Get out.
So yeah, so that's General Tso's chicken. There's so many different ways to pronounce it. Like,
Yeah.
I watched a million videos, but I guess there's people who are like historians who talk about the actual General Tso, say General Tso.
I say General Tso.
Yeah. So that's how they say his name. So I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. But people say General Tso, General Tso, General To, General Tao. There's a bunch of different ways to say it.
They're all different people. It's fine. I'm joking.
It's just a bunch of different generals.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, one of my so about the MSG thing, nowadays we're starting to see MSG come back.
Yeah.
Like we're starting to actually see it way more often in food now. They'll still have it on the menu, like just like warning, this contains MSG. If you don't want it in there, say something. I want it in there.
Oh,
Give me
me
my
too.
fucking umami.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Right.
there's literally nothing wrong with it. There's
Right.
no. It's like the same caliber as salt.
It's
Obviously,
pretty much, yeah.
you don't want to load your food with salt because
Right.
you'll get high blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's kind of same thing with MSG, in high quantities.
Right. Yeah. Well, anything in high quantities
Yeah.
will kill you.
Yeah, but it's like it's a seasoning. It's
Go
a
back to
flavoring.
the Big Mama's house reference I made earlier. Lose your foot first. Anywho, one of the things I want to bring up though about because you mentioned New York, the New York Public Library actually has the New York Public Library. I've been in New York a few times. I've never been to the library. I need to go just because the ridiculous shit they have there.
Yeah.
Here's one of them. So they have 45,000 a collection of 45,000 Chinese menus
What?
dating back to the 1840s.
There's a guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's this documentary on YouTube called Searching for General Tso.
Okay.
And there's a guy in the beginning of the documentary who holds the world record for Chinese takeout menus or something.
Huh.
He has like a whole room in his house full of file boxes.
Yeah.
And he collects like Chinese restaurant memorabilia.
Hell yeah.
And they showed his like Guinness World Record plaque or whatever for the
Right
most
on.
Chinese food menus.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
very random, but I like it.
I know. He was so excited talking about it too.
I'm sure he was. Good for him. So the collection that the New York Public Library has includes 60 Chinese restaurants, and over 6,000 Chinese dishes.
That's amazing.
So apparently, I'm like, okay, New York,
Yeah, really.
you got it. You got me.
I mean, if anyone's gonna have something like that, it's gonna be New York.
Right, and like their public library has so much random shit in it. Yeah, the Ghostbusters. Anyways, I want to go into some things too. So 1914, fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Fucking fortune cookies. You can't have a Chinese meal without fortune cookies.
Yep.
At the end of it. Have you guys ever? I don't know if you've ever been with me for fortune cookies, but I have a thing where you open fortune cookie, you read it, and at the end you put in bed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I almost brought some fortune cookies. I totally forgot about it. I had some because I had Chinese food like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And they've just been sitting on my counter. I almost brought them. I'm sorry.
Oh, we could have read them on. We could have read them on there.
We could have. Damn it.
One of the best birthday gifts I ever got when I was 14. One of my friends, Josette, got me a pound of fortune cookies from GFS.
They used to sell them in like these big bags.
That was exactly the bag
we used
I got.
to get those.
That was like the best thing ever.
Yes. Oh, they're so good.
Amazing.
Hell yeah. So the thing is with fortune cookies, they're actually invented by a Japanese dude by the name of Makoto Hagiwara in San Francisco. So they were always served with tea, and it's kind of just how they were served. But eventually, Chinese restaurants started serving them too, because why not? There are 3 billion fortune cookies made every year.
Jesus.
And the large producer of this is a company called Wonton Food in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, well,
So there's
one
that.
of the theories as to why Chinese restaurants started selling fortune cookies,
Yeah.
or why they got associated with Chinese restaurants, was because after Pearl Harbor, nobody wanted to eat at Japanese restaurants anymore.
Right.
So there were still factories making fortune cookies, so they started selling them to Chinese restaurants instead.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they did put Japanese people in internment camps.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure
they did do that.
did.
And that's the stupid American thing where they're
Yep.
like, I ain't eating these fortune cookies. They're like, wait, they're not Japanese.
But they're Chinese.
No, they're
Chinese.
different, totally different part of.
Oh, why do you just say that?
They're communist cookies. Completely different.
It was 1914. It's before communism
Oh,
had a
yeah,
chance.
yeah, you're right.
Even though I was watching, never mind. That's a whole nother episode. I actually wrote it down on the list because there is something about the revolution in Russia I want to talk about one day.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Spiegel wants to be a part of it.
I saw Spizak today.
Oh, nice. At the gym?
Yeah. No, at Wild Rose.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, because I stopped to get food there.
Yeah, was he getting food or something? Or just
Yeah, just having a beer. Food
Right
by
on.
himself. Yeah.
I get it. He probably needed a moment. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on. I got one more thing in my list here. 1922. Kin Chu Cafe in LA was the first restaurant to deliver food.
Ooh.
The first delivery was Chinese.
Chinese takeout.
Yep. And it said for their slogan was the only place on the West Coast making and delivering real Chinese dishes.
Wow.
And nothing beats that, man. Ordering Chinese food from dude dropping it off on a moped.
Oh yeah.
Well, you guys know the little boxes.
Oh yeah.
Chinese food comes in. So those are actually called oyster pails. Mm-hmm. They were invented in America. They're not Chinese, like many of these things that we're talking about today. They were originally used to carry oysters in the 1800s. But overfishing drove down oyster populations, and these boxes became very, very cheap and very available. So Chinese restaurant owners used to buy them up like crazy and use them for their takeout.
Yeah, makes sense. And actually, it's cool because they keep the heat in.
Yeah.
So it kind of just worked out.
And then you can unfold
Open it.
them and make it like a plate.
A giant plate, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that you can do the same thing with the ketchup cups?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, nobody ever does that. People thought I was weird. Like, yeah, you can spread them out, and it makes a giant ketchup thing.
Yeah.
You can put in like 3 times the ketchup. Anyways, people thought I was fucking weird, but okay, I was just ahead of the game. I should have been on TikTok before TikTok. Goddamn,
You should have, yeah.
You'll learn them.
You could have been, what's his name? Jordan, whatever. The guy who's like,
the guy who shares a birthday with me.
does he really?
Yeah.
That could have been you, man.
If I was 10 years younger, 11, actually,
Isn't he like
26.
20 something? Yeah.
He's 26. Yeah,
He seems like he's older than you.
I get that.
I don't know. Anyway.
Look at him.
Anyway, yeah, I've got a couple more things.
Go for it.
So egg rolls were also a thing that were invented in New York City in the 1930s. Crab Rangoon was originally created at a tiki bar style restaurant in the 1940s as an American business owner's attempt to make something that seemed vaguely Polynesian.
What?
Yeah, he was he was just like a restaurant owner, and he was like trying to come up with like Polynesian kind of tropical-ish food ideas.
Missed the mark.
And he came up with crab rangoon, and people fucking loved it.
Jeez.
And then my last thing that I want to talk about, and then DJ will let you do your thing, is, did you guys know that Australians have their own version of Chinese food?
I did not.
Yeah. So, Australian Chinese immigrants came during Australia's gold rush in the late 1800s. And they brought their own unique versions of Chinese food that have evolved over the decades. Some of those dishes include lemon chicken, which is like one of the most popular Australian Chinese dishes, Mongolian lamb, prawn toast, and mango pancakes.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, the last one, you have my interest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, right? Doesn't that sound kind of good?
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
I keep trying to think of like an Australian saying the word rice.
Royce?
There it is.
I can do Australian pretty well.
You know, since you mentioned that, I had to look up like my favorite Chinese dish, which I know had nothing to do with fucking China. But I love bourbon chicken. Bourbon chicken is my
bourbon
favorite.
chicken is good.
I mean, because of fucking Mafia Japan. I can't help it.
R.I.P. man.
Yeah, Ripperoonie again. And what I got like one plate of that right before the close. I had my last hurrah with them, and it was delicious. But I was just looking up, just real quick to see, and apparently the origins of the bourbon chicken is actually unknown.
Really?
But most people attribute it to New Orleans, actually, and the name coming from Bourbon Street
Oh, that makes sense.
in 1721. Apparently,
Applebee's used to have bourbon chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, they sure did.
That's amazing.
They had bourbon chicken. They had orange chicken. Yeah. Yep.
Applebee's.
Applebee's. Fucking Applebee's, man.
My dad loves Applebee's. I've never understood why.
Old people love Applebee's.
Never got it. My mom was like, yeah. But
They're like eating good in the neighborhood.
I guess, dude. I'm not gonna lie though. I was in when I was in Disney, and the hotel that I had booked was attached to an Applebee's, and I fucked it up one night, and it was delicious.
Yeah, I'd still fuck up an Applebee's.
Applebee's,
Dude, that was great.
Applebee's is like, I don't want to think about what food I want. I just want to go somewhere and eat.
Just give me the shrimp steak.
I had
Applebee's.
chicken and mushrooms.
Yeah.
It was damn fine.
Yeah.
All right, Deej, what you got, buddy?
I was kind of going to go over a list of some other foods that we've just Americanized the fuck out of. And I was kind of going to branch off into some other stuff, but I really don't know if I want to in this episode because we got so many other topics.
There's a lot.
But here's some Chinese food that we also Americanized the fuck out of.
All right.
One being Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah.
Did you guys know the original ingredient for Kung Pao chicken wasn't even a legal recipe until 2005?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
What?
yeah. I did hear about this because of the peppers were banned, right?
Yeah, according to the
Szechuan peppers?
Yeah, according to the South China Morning Post, Szechuan pepper was banned from being imported into the U.S. from 1968 to 2005.
I did not know that. That's news
I
to
came
me.
across that in my
Yeah,
research.
it has Chinese, Cantonese roots. But yeah, President Nixon
Yeah.
wasn't about that.
So
He didn't like that shit.
so they started using like bell peppers and shit. They started using like less spicy peppers.
Yeah.
Fucking dick, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can thank President Nixon for that one.
Well, again, Dick Nixon.
I did also read that
Good old tricky dick.
he
Yep.
was the first. He was the wait. I have it in my notes somewhere. He was the first president to visit China.
Yeah, he was.
After he was the first president to visit the new People's Republic of China.
Yep,
That's
he
what
was.
it was.
So-
he got back. He's like, we got to
When-
stop this shit from hitting America.
Because
Well,
there's a
when he-
picture of him eating Chinese food.
Yeah,
over
but when
there.
he did do that, he like renewed American interest in Chinese food. So
Yeah, people love
You
love
win
Richard
some,
Nixon.
you lose some.
Yeah.
People fucked with him.
Another one that's one of my favorites that was really
Dick.
developed in America
Oh, good old Tricky Dick. What up? Sorry.
was orange chicken.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah.
love orange chicken.
Yeah, orange chicken was actually
favorite.
created by a chef in Hawaii in 1987.
That makes a lot of
And
sense.
traditionally it was served with the bone in, but customers didn't like that, so he made a boneless version of it, Americanized the fuck out of it, and called it orange chicken.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see
Orange
that.
chicken is my fucking favorite.
That's your
Yeah.
jam?
Yeah, that's
Right
my
on.
jam.
Another one we Americanized the fuck out of is stir fry.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
type of beef, broccoli, stir fry. you know.
Like Jedi's Garden has stir fry.
I don't even want to find out.
No, it's bad. I've ordered it before.
I actually make really good stir fry.
Why?
Like that shit's great.
I love making some stir fry. Man.
It's so easy.
I actually have a wok now,
I do too.
and I'm so excited. I haven't made anything in it yet.
Neither have I.
But well, I have to season it still.
Yeah, so do I.
I have to season it still. But once I get it seasoned, ooh.
Yeah,
no,
Diamond
watch out.
gave me her a wall because she had an extra one and she just never used it. I'm like, I can use it. I need
We
to- I need to
gotta
see-
get on this, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We're over here talking about all this. I'm hungry right now. So I'm like,
Yeah,
this is not going well.
I really want some Chinese food.
I
now,
could
man.
fuck up some Chinese food.
it was another one of those dishes, like you said, they didn't have what they had in China to make it. They were like, well, let's just use beef and broccoli.
Yeah.
You know, and so they came up with a stir fry, really simple, easy meal. The last one I'm going to go over is egg foo young, which is basically a Chinese omelet
Yeah.
smothered in brown gravy.
My ex used to get egg foo young, and it looked disgusting.
It doesn't look appealing.
No. It is the ugliest, nastiest looking food I've ever seen in my life, but goddamn is it good.
Yeah, that's actually the joke that they made in the movie from Paris with Love. It was about egg
is
foo
it?
young. It's like, yeah, the word for egg in Chinese is don.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that because this was another one of those dishes that it's kind of been lost in translation of exactly where it came from or how it was made, but it was something that they made to appeal to Americans, you know,
Yeah.
by literally smothering it in fucking brown gravy,
Yeah.
you know. I actually got one more that I'll do is
Sure.
any type of Chinese or Asian salad. Those are all Americanized as fuck.
There are, wait, like what? Chinese.
I don't think they have a salad.
Yeah, they really
At
don't.
all, actually.
Yeah, America, you literally was like, we could do a salad with this, throw some crab and Italian dressing on this, and we're
think
going to
I've
call it a
ever
Chinese
seen-
salad.
So like, okay, so like when you go to like Sakura Bowl, they will give you a like lettuce with like a
Some kind of
dressing
sauce, yeah, I know
before
what it is.
with your meal.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's not
no.
really a salad. It's
No.
just lettuce with dressing.
Yeah, this one you would call an Oriental salad or secret Asian man salad.
Oh,
Secret.
You know what?
Asian man.
no, you know what? My mom, I remember my mom making an Oriental salad when I was younger, and it had mandarin oranges and those like crispy rice noodles in it, and that was the Oriental salad.
Yeah, these salads of all the ones I looked at have no type of origin or any type of relatively to China.
Yeah.
Or any type of Asian culture.
Yep.
They just literally made a salad and maybe put some crab in it and some things that might have looked fucking Chinese and called it an Oriental salad.
The crispy rice
Yeah.
noodles.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Mandarin oranges in there. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, there was a lot I really wanted to go over from different types of ethnic groups, but we really got to break that down into
Yeah.
different episodes.
Yeah,
So
that's
don't
what I
even
figured we
wanna-
would do.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into those, but these were the ones that you guys hadn't mentioned that I wanted to go over. Also, you know what? I'll do one more because they're my fucking favorite. Egg rolls.
Yeah.
Americanized as fuck. Because just like America, you can take an ethnic food, put it onto some type of bread, wrap it into a burrito form, and call it,
Yeah, because they have like spring rolls in
Yeah.
China, right? Or they have like harumaki in
Yeah.
Japan. But the actual egg roll itself is totally American.
Yeah, it's the easy way for America to take an ethnic food, like I said, to put it on some type of bread and just roll it up into an easy to go meal.
Yeah, I was trying it because my grandma like claims that she doesn't like Chinese food, and I'm like, you never had it, so you don't know, you know. So I keep trying to like get her to try different Asian foods, and I was trying to get her to eat an egg roll, and I was like, it's literally just like cabbage like rolled up in a kind of like a tortilla. It's like a
Chinese burrito.
Yeah, it's like a Chinese burrito.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Deep fried, yeah.
she's like, I don't know about that. And then I had her try it, and she's like, this is actually really good. I'm like, you eat sauerkraut all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
You should love this.
China Kun has the best egg rolls, man.
Yes, they do.
So fucking good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways,
I told y'all we should have ordered Chinese food for this
Yeah, you're
episode.
right.
Ain't nobody listen to me.
yeah, you're right. You're right. I can admit when I'm wrong. You was right.
Yeah, I'm man enough to admit that.
Yeah. It's cool.
That's for sure.
You have any more you want to go over these, or you know?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. All right, well, hope you all enjoyed that episode. If you made it this far, we appreciate you listening to us. Give us like a follow on your favorite social medias of choice. Drop us a rating on Spotify, by the way. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. We have a lot of followers, and not everybody says follows have rated.
We have a comment. Do we want to shout out our comment?
Yeah. We had a couple Tree comments now. You can actually at the end of an episode leave a comment. Apparently, I don't know how. I've never tried it, but apparently at the end of the episode, you'd be like, "Hey, what did the other episode?"
Yeah.
So the last 2 episodes have gotten some love. Shout out to Dean Sanders for giving us some love a few days ago. Said he loves us. They love us.
We love you too.
We love you, Dean.
They love us too. So
Thanks, buddy.
That's pretty tight. So I don't know who that person is, but we appreciate you for giving us comments. So yeah, if you want to give us some more comments on there, or rate us, or share us with your friends, they're pretty cool. We appreciate it. Like I said before, you can follow us on social medias for any updates coming from us. Follow our link tree for any other merch if you want to get our face on your shirt. Other than that, we appreciate y'all listening to Required Taste Podcast, and y'all be cool.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.